Friends, today we are going to discuss a recently released, amazing movie called Crew, featuring Kriti Sanon, Kareena Kapoor, and Taboo in the lead roles. You will definitely enjoy this movie. On that note, please like this video as well. Let's dive into the story. At the beginning of the movie, we see a scene at the airport where customs officers arrest 3 air hostesses named Geeta Sethi, Divya Rana, and Jasmine. Then Divya Rana begins to tell us her story about how she became an air hostess. Divya was a top student living in a place called Nunnery. Although there was an airport there, no plane ever landed, which sparked Divya's dream of becoming a pilot and landing a plane there. Divya worked very hard to become a pilot, and her family believed she would definitely achieve her dream, even taking out a loan for her studies. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, Divya was unable to become a pilot. Divya didn't have the courage to tell her family the truth, so she let them believe she had become a pilot. In reality, she became an air hostess and slowly started repaying the loan for her studies. Next, we learn about Geeta Sethi's story. Geeta and her husband came from a wealthy family that owned a successful business called Sethi Kitchen. However, due to conflicts between the Sethi brothers, Geeta's financial situation deteriorated, and she had to take up a job as an air hostess. She easily got the job because she had previously been Miss Carnal. Geeta tells Mr. Sethi that as soon as she receives her provident fund from the airline, she will quit the job, and they will open their own restaurant in Goa. Next, we see Jasmine's story. After her parents divorced, Jasmine lived with her maternal grandfather, who took complete care of her. As Jasmine grew up, she realized they didn't have much money, and since she was very fond of money, she thought about starting a business. However, she didn't find success in that either. Eventually, someone suggested she become an air hostess. Due to her beauty, she easily secured a job as an air hostess with Kohinoor Airlines, owned by Vijay Walia. In the present, the customs officer questions the 3 women, and we learn they have been arrested for gold smuggling. They claim they know nothing about it. The officer then asks why they felt the need to get involved in such activities, leading us to a flashback from 6 months ago. In this flashback, Divya asks Geeta when they will receive their salaries because she needs to pay her loan installment. We see a newspaper headline indicating that Kohinoor Airlines is drowning in debt. Geeta mentions that she spoke to Ashar Mittal, who assured her that along with the Diwali bonus, everyone would also receive their salaries. Despite this assurance, they go to work on the plane. Geeta interacts with a pilot who works for Vanera Line but doesn't give him much importance. Despite doing their jobs, they do not receive their salaries but only small daily allowances, which were insufficient. Jasmine occasionally helped an airline employee by giving him money because she knew he needed it, even though she wasn't receiving her salary either. One day, frustrated, Geeta asks her crew member, Rajvanshi, when they will get their salaries. Rajvanshi responds that such problems are common in the airline industry. Something similar happened in the 911 incident, but after some time, everyone received their payment and PF. While they are working on the plane, Geeta goes to give tea to Rajvanshi and discovers he is dead due to breathing problems. She calls her friends, and they decide to give CPR to Rajvanshi, though Divya and Jasmine are initially hesitant. Out of humanity, Geeta decides to perform CPR. When she opens Rajvanshi's shirt to administer chest compressions, she is shocked to find that he was smuggling many gold biscuits. The 3 women then move Rajvanshi to the crew seat. Jasmine suggests they take the gold, quit their jobs, and live a comfortable life. Jasmine tries to convince them, but Geeta refuses, saying she is not a thief and doesn't want to go to jail. Consequently, Geeta and Divya reject the idea. They hand over Rajvanshi's body and the gold to the customs officials. Here, we meet a customs officer named Jaivir, who smiles at Divya upon seeing her. Divya tells Jasmine that she and Jaivir met during a basketball tournament where they grew close and became intimate but never saw each other again. Jaivir talks to Divya and takes her number, saying they should stay in touch. Meanwhile, Ashar Mittal is also present near Rajvanshi's body. Geeta tries to call Mittal, but he ignores her. During the customs inspection, it is revealed that Rajvanshi was smuggling a total of 12 kilograms of gold in the form of gold biscuits from Alborg. After being taken in for questioning, the customs officers become even more vigilant. The 3 women return to their respective homes, revealing their dire financial situations. Jasmine is struggling to maintain her household and can't even pay the rent. Divya's father had to sell his auto rickshaw to pay off loan installments, and Geeta and her husband are barely scraping by with limited funds. Jasmine visits her maternal grandfather, who gives her an ancestral gold ring. She sells the ring without informing him to pay the house rent. Meanwhile, Geeta, while buying vegetables, runs into her former crew member Sudha. Geeta inquires about Mittal, who is not answering their calls. Sudha reveals that Mittal had left his first wife and married her, but now he barely speaks to her. On the news, there's an interview with Vijay Walia, where it is announced that Kohinoor Airlines has gone bankrupt. However, Vijay Walia denies this, saying that financial ups and downs are part of the business. He assures everyone that they will manage the situation and not let down their 4,000 employees. As Geeta prepares to leave for her job, she spots Mittal and seizes the opportunity to confront him by stepping in front of his car. Once they are together, Geeta asks Mittal if the rumors about Kohinoor Airlines going bankrupt are true and if that's why they haven't been paid. Mittal initially denies it but eventually admits that they won't be getting their money. Geeta is disheartened, especially worried about her provident fund. Determined to salvage something, Geeta, along with Divya and Jasmine, heads to the airline's warehouse and starts taking items, reasoning that if they aren't going to be paid, they should at least take what they can. Jasmine asks why Geeta is doing this, and upon learning the truth, both she and Divya are shocked. Jasmine blames Geeta for not taking the gold earlier, and Divya agrees, lamenting that they should have kept the gold. Geeta wonders who Rajvanshi was working for. Jasmine reveals that she had kept Rajvanshi's phone and suggests they call the number Rajvanshi frequently contacted. When they do, Mittal answers, revealing his involvement in the gold smuggling operation. The three women confront Mittal and start blackmailing him, demanding to be included in the gold smuggling so they can also earn money. Mittal reluctantly agrees and gives them a card with an address, instructing them to meet him there. The next day, Geeta, Divya, and Jasmine arrive at the given address, where Mittal provides them with gold biscuits, thus drawing them into the smuggling operation. Mittal informs them that they must transport the gold to Albers and leave through gate number 2, where he has connections. He warns them not to run away with the gold, as he knows everything about them, and suggests they find a different way to smuggle it since Rajvanshi's method is still under scrutiny. At home, the three women brainstorm how to smuggle the gold. Divya questions why gold is being smuggled out of India, while Jasmine dismisses her question, emphasizing practicality over curiosity. They struggle to figure out where to hide the gold until Geeta, while eating chocolate, comes up with an idea. They take the gold to a jeweler, melt it down, and shape it into chocolate balls, later coating them with candy to disguise them. Their first smuggling operation, though nerve-wracking, is successful, and they earn a significant amount of money. This becomes their routine, and they start smuggling gold daily in this manner, significantly improving their financial situations. Jasmine buys back her grandfather's ring, and Geeta's dream of opening her own restaurant begins to materialize. They enjoy their newfound wealth, indulging in purchases and helping others, with Jasmine even giving money to an airline employee in need. Their happiness and improved lifestyles eventually arouse the suspicion of a fellow air hostess, who wonders why they are so content despite not receiving their salaries. Although she doesn't confront them, this sets the stage for potential trouble. One day, as they are heading for their flight, customs officers stop and search their luggage, putting their smuggling operation at risk. As the customs officer picks up the box containing chocolates, Jasmine spots Jaivir and quickly calls out Divya's name to get his attention. Jaivir intervenes and tells the officer to let them go, allowing the women to narrowly escape. After work, while heading home, Jasmine teases Divya about Jaivir, suggesting that they have become close. Seizing the moment, Jasmine uses Divya's phone. Feeling jealous of their happiness, one of their crew members begins to suspect something is up. That night, Divya goes to dinner with Jaivir, and they become close, though Divya decides to postpone any further intimacy. The next day on the flight, the crew receives their daily allowance. A crew member, feeling the financial strain, laments that the small amount won't allow her to send her child to a good school and breaks down in tears. Divya and Geeta feel sympathy for her but remain silent, knowing that revealing the truth about the company's bankruptcy would jeopardize their gold smuggling operation. The story then returns to the present, where the customs officer continues to press the women about the smuggled gold following Rajvanshi's death, suspecting their involvement. The three women deny any knowledge. During the investigation, the officer checks Jasmine's phone and finds a photo of the three of them having a grand party in a bar, raising further suspicion about their activities. Divya appears and questions where they got so much money. The scene then flashes back to the past, showing the three of them throwing a lavish party for Jasmine's birthday. Drunk and carrying a big bottle of champagne, they bump into a fellow crew member, who starts to suspect how they can afford such extravagance. The next day, the suspicious crew member contacts a customs officer, tipping them off that gold is going to be smuggled on that day's flight and implicating the three women. She informs Jaivir about the tip and mentions the names of Geeta, Divya, and Jasmine. This brings us back to the scene at the beginning of the movie where the customs officer arrests the three women. Since the officer found nothing on them, her superior instructs her to release them to avoid creating a scene. Frustrated, the officer remembers seeing chocolates in Geeta's bag and realizes they had chocolates before as well. She quickly takes a box of chocolates from Geeta's bag, causing the women to panic. When the officer eats the chocolate, she discovers it is just regular chocolate, leaving her confused and nervous, as she expected to find gold hidden inside. With no evidence against them, the 3 women are released. We then see a flashback to 6 hours earlier, where the flight captain informs Divya that there might be a delay in going home due to customs inspections. The women panic, fearing they will be caught and jailed. Divya comes up with a clever idea to hide the gold in the plane's cabin, which is why the customs officers couldn't find it. Back in the present, they are free but realize the gold is now flying away in the plane, making it difficult to retrieve due to constantly changing duties. As they head home, Jasmine suspects that Komal, the crew member who saw them after the party, tipped off the customs officers. Tensions rise, and Jasmine and Divya argue. Geeta, frustrated, stops the car and leaves both of them on the roadside, driving home alone. Divya receives multiple calls from Jaivir but ignores them. The next day, while on her flight, Divya overhears a crew member talking about their plight. This makes her reflect on her situation, feeling disheartened that despite being a topper, she has resorted to such criminal activities. At the airport, Divya meets her brother, who proudly gives her an air hostess uniform, believing she is a pilot. Touched by his admiration, Divya confesses the whole truth to him. He advises her to let go of the past and move forward. Days pass, and one day, gold falls out of the same flight, leading to a series of events that could further complicate their situation. The news about the gold falling out of the plane spreads rapidly, appearing on every channel. Geeta becomes very scared about the potential consequences, but Mr. Sethi reassures her that the police have no proof linking them to the gold. Jaivir, seeing the news, informs his superior that the tip-off was correct, but the officer dismisses it, saying it's too late now since the women have already escaped. Divya visits Jaivir, hoping to reconcile, but he angrily tells her that he wants nothing to do with her. Meanwhile, Jasmine returns home to find that her maternal grandfather has passed away, leaving her devastated. Divya and Geeta come to support her during this difficult time. A few days later, the news reports that Vijay Walia has fled the country, and none of the employees will receive any money. This causes widespread distress among the employees, with many, including Komal, feeling betrayed. Komal confronts Divya and Geeta, expressing her anger and disappointment, revealing that she didn't inform the customs officers about them. This revelation shocks the 3 women. As they ponder who could have tipped off the customs, Jasmine recalls the officer mentioning a spy who had been an air hostess. Geeta then remembers that Mital's wife, Sudha, could be the informant. Determined to get to the bottom of it, the 3 women decide to confront Sudha. Sudha reveals the truth, explaining that Mital has also abandoned her and has made arrangements with a foreigner to escape. Out of anger, Sudha informed the customs officers to get Mital caught, but it didn't work. She discloses that the gold doesn't belong to Mital but to Vijay Walia, and they themselves had smuggled it out. Vijay Walia took advantage of the situation and fled the country, planning his daughter's grand wedding next week. This revelation shocks the women, making them realize the extent of their greed. That evening, the 3 women meet and calculate that they have smuggled gold worth around 3,000 crore. They decide to retrieve the gold themselves. The next day, they arrive in Albers and start keeping a close watch on Vijay Walia. They discover the hotel where Walia is staying and see Mital handing him a bag full of gold. Geeta suggests that the gold is kept in the hotel, so they need to get jobs there. Geeta manages to secure a job for herself by bribing someone. They face a challenge due to the surveillance cameras installed throughout the hotel. Divya contacts her hacker brother to hack into the hotel system. Divya obtains the necessary information by working as a staff member, and her brother begins hacking the cameras. Furthermore, they learn that access to the hotel rooms requires the owner's card and password. Jasmine suggests that she be alone with Walia for 2 minutes to get his card. This sets the stage for their next move in their plan to retrieve the gold. Facing a setback with their initial plan, the trio devises a new strategy. They confront Mital, accusing him of letting Walia abscond with the gold. Under pressure, Mital agrees to cooperate. Later, at a party thrown by Walia's daughter, Geeta and Divya work as staff while Jasmine befriends a guest to acquire his access card. Divya also sabotages the hotel's cameras with her brother's help. Disguised as delivery personnel, they open the suitcase in front of Walia only to find it empty, leaving them devastated. In the ensuing chaos, Walia's daughter attacks her mother, and the trio flees. 2 days later, Walia and his family depart with the gold. Geeta and Jasmine, already aboard the plane, hatch a plan to steal the gold. They incapacitate the plane's crew and drug the passengers with spiked champagne. However, Walia's daughter refuses to drink, causing a delay. When she eventually falls unconscious, the trio searches for the gold, only to be confronted by her awakening father. They subdue Walia's daughter and successfully steal the gold. In a flashback, Geeta suggests returning home, but Jasmine reveals a tab she obtained from Walia's room, indicating his departure to an island. They decide to intercept the plane and execute their plan. Taking the crew's place, they drug the passengers and successfully retrieve the gold, despite some unexpected challenges. With the heist complete, they escape with the gold as the authorities arrest Walia and his accomplices. The movie concludes with their successful heist, leaving viewers wondering about their next adventure. After securing the gold from Walia's bag, the trio jubilantly prepares for their heist. Despite Walia's daughter waking up and attempting to rouse her father, the effects of the sedative keep them both incapacitated. Jasmine and Geeta swiftly tie up Walia's daughter and retrieve the gold from the bag before sealing it shut. As preparations unfold, Walia's daughter manages to contact the plane's captain, revealed to be Divya. In a flashback, it's revealed that Divya assumed the pilot's role after incapacitating the original pilot, who had targeted Geeta. In the present, Divya faces immense fear during the landing, relying on Geeta's guidance and a book to execute the landing successfully. Landing on what turns out to be the runway of her childhood village, Divya realizes her lifelong dream. With the gold in their possession, the trio leaves the scene as Walia watches helplessly. Soon, the authorities arrive, arresting Walia and confiscating the gold due to the trio's prior deal with Jaivir. In the aftermath, the trio distributes the gold among the crew, returning Mital's share to Sudha. Meanwhile, Jaivir and Divya's romance blossoms. The movie concludes, prompting viewers to share their thoughts and suggest future movie explanations.